Welcome back, everybody. James here. Look, while I don't want to get too political, I'd like to make a brief video about the recent winning for Donald Trump in the latest candidacy race, because I think there's some important topics to cover when we're talking about finance. So first off, congratulations, Donald Trump. Amazing race. Obviously the world was covering it, massive news. Like I said, look, I don't want to get into the political side too much, but I do want to cover some of the financial stuff because there's huge ripple effect throughout the financial markets because of Trump's recent win. So just a few quick points about this result. On the news of this result, the Dow Jones, which is just one of the American stock exchanges, went up 3.5% just on the news. Massive. Bitcoin as well. On the news of this result, about 3.5% increase, which is crazy to think that both of those two had the same increase on the same news. It says a lot about the importance and the weighting of crypto and where that market is in terms of the current financial market. I'll cover that in another video at some point, but really excited to see where crypto goes in the next few years under Donald Trump's presidency. Now, really important thing that I wanted to highlight about these financial markets: gold. Now, I've heard mainstream media talk about the shares, I've heard them talk about crypto, but I haven't heard anybody touch on precious metals. And it's really important. I think it's one of the most important points. Gold is down 3.5% on the news. Now, what does that mean? Generally, when investors are concerned about the value of the United States dollar, which ripples across the world, investors will flock to precious metals. Now, why might that be, you ask? Gold, less so silver, predominantly gold, is seen as real money. It's tangible, it's got intrinsic value, it's seen more as real money, whereas the United States dollar is more seen as debt. And again, I'll go into another video on another day, we'll cover that. But essentially, gold is seen by large investors as real money. So why did it go down by 3.5%? Well, if you look at over the past couple of years, precious metals have actually been on a tear away. Now, what does that say? That tells me that there's a concern in financial markets by big investors in the value of the American dollar. So the fact that in recent years, gold and even silver have been viewed by investors in the market more so as investment vehicles than actual financial safe havens is crazy and says a lot about the sentiment in the US dollar. With Trump coming in on the news, 3.5% decrease in gold tells me straight away they're much less concerned with the US dollar with Trump and the Republican Party in power than they were with the Democrats under Joe Biden. It's actually great news. It's really bullish for the economy to see the value of gold drop. As I said, it's a store of value. It's a safe haven of currency when the currency you own is a concern. Now, it might be blaringly obvious, but I'll point it out anyway for the sake of this video. The fact that gold has gone down 3.5% and the stock market has gone up 3.5%, well, you don't have to be a mathematician to put those two things together, right? People are pouring out of precious metals and they're pouring into the Dow Jones. Beautiful. What does that say about the economy? Well, bullish. Great news about the economy, especially the American. It tells us that market sentiment is on the way up. Now, what does that say about the financial markets? Well, it's really good news. It's quite bullish. And if you've got money tied up in assets at the moment, you're probably already seeing your portfolio increase in value. Fantastic. Congratulations. There's a video I made earlier about inflation and explaining a bit about inflation. It's a really important point here that I want to make. There are some major concerns in the economy that we're seeing from investors about inflation and the risk of it currently. Now, what I've explained in a past video, and the reason for inflation being a concern at the moment, is when money tends to pour into a market, it means that the price level rather of goods and services increases. Now, you can watch that video and it'll actually guide you through and highlight why price levels aren't going up. They're actually staying the same, but the value of the money is dropping. But I'll leave that for then. We also heard Donald Trump in the lead up to the election announced some of his policy, which did include some reduction in tax levels and taxation for corporations. Now, if you want to revert back to one of my other videos where I highlight inflation, you'll understand that when you reduce the taxation level, what that does is it increases liquidity, i.e. it increases money into the economy. So corporations have to pay less tax and they've got more money. That then goes back into the market, which tends to raise prices. This raising of prices is called inflation. And so at the moment, I'm watching the market really carefully. While I think it's fantastic, and look, I've seen a great increase in my portfolio over the last couple of days, I am watching with bated breath. Inflation is a real beast. While we may have some issues with it in Australia, and there's a lot of people who are going through some tough times and have been over the last few years, I must stress that we would rather have inflation under control than hyperinflation. And if you're unfamiliar with what hyperinflation is, I'll create another video around that and you can take a look with some examples as well of some nations who have actually experienced hyperinflation in history. But essentially what it is inflation going out of control, as you could understand by the name hyperinflation. Look, all in all, great result for the world's economy as we've seen so far. It is early days. I don't want to get political on this, but I would like to extend my congratulations to Donald Trump and the Republican Party on their result. A lot of hard work that's gone into it. And I'd like to point out as well the grace in defeat by Kamala Harris. All right, guys, thanks a lot for watching this video and I'll see you in the next one. See ya.